I came here where we were on the South Lookout here. I stood out there on September 21st in probably 1974, and I looked up in the sky and it looked like there were gnats flying over my head, and I thought, why are people so excited? And I realized they were actually birds. It was the largest, it still is the largest migration of broad-winged hawks that we've ever seen here on that day. It was the day I came. We're at Hawk Mountain Sanctuary. We're eastern Pennsylvania. We're standing on the first wrinkle going northwest from Philadelphia on the Appalachian chain. Hawk Mountain is the first sanctuary for birds of prey in the world. We've been collecting migration data since 1934 and have the longest standing collection of such data in the world. You can see more birds, more hawks in other parts of the world, but none of them have been accounted for in the same way they have been here for all these years. We have, thousands of visitors that come here, particularly in the fall, in the migration season. We also have an education program. We attract trainees from all over the world, actually, to come and spend 3 months here. We've had over 450 young folks here over the years, over the decades. There are other places you can look at birds. This isn't the only one, but these trainees that come, there's no other way they could get that kind of experience. I left Hawk Mountain in 1987, went to Wildlands. It's a regional land trust. Focuses on the Lehigh River watershed. The Lehigh River was the mechanism for getting coal to the Lehigh Valley, which is Bethlehem Steel, Big Steel. It's the only river in the country that was owned by a company. And they eventually folded, and the land along the river went into public ownership. So it's virtually all park, which makes it easy for making waterfront parks along the whole river. It's a great river for recreation, for fishing, for rafting, canoeing. Wildlands started some programs, one of which was the Lehigh River Sojourn, of which I think there are 17 or 18 sojourns in the state. Our sojourn was one of the earlier ones. We also do the bike and boat program, which is, as I say, middle schoolers. They go in a canoe for 3 or 4 miles in Allentown to Bethlehem and then back on the bicycles. Started a program that I particularly like. I called it Fridays in the Wilderness. What I did was invite community leaders of every stripe. Mayors, legislators, doctors, lawyers, teachers, librarians. I mean, there was just an amazing assortment of people, but they all were able to experience this beautiful river, which I like to call a metro wilderness, because it goes right through the middle of the cities. But showed, and in fact, the mayor from Bethlehem at the time said, I see this river from my office every day, and I've never seen it like this. It was the first time in a canoe in the river. The Lehigh is cleaner than it's ever been in probably 120 years. It was horrible at one point. It was everything got dumped into it. So coal waste, coal washings, all kinds of stuff. It was just horrendous. But it's very good condition. The fish are healthy, and people now appreciate it in ways that they didn't before. And I think Wildlands had a whole lot to do with that. We're on a spinning globe, traveling about 1,000 miles an hour right now. So on a Sunday morning in the summer, I might be lying in bed, window open, no light in the sky yet, and I hear crickets. I mean, that's all we're hearing. Then I hear a bird chirp, first chirp. And 4 minutes later, I did the research on this, 4 minutes later, Cindy and Craig Dunn will hear their first bird chirp at their house. And 17 minutes later, Davitt will hear his first bird chirping in Pittsburgh. And 3 hours later, somebody in Seattle is going to hear their first bird chirp. And so it goes at 1,000 miles an hour. It just goes around and around. It doesn't ever stop. There's no end of the day. It just keeps going around and around. But I think about first chirpers, and I feel really proud to be associated with so many environmental first chirpers. It's great to acknowledge people for achievements of things, but I think everybody should reach around and pat themselves on the back, because all of us who've maybe ever been acknowledged for something know that there's no way we could have done this by ourselves. It's just not possible. And I think we should, those of us in leadership positions, should be looking for other people that are potential. I can take no credit for the great work that Sean Grace does here at Hawk Mountain, or what Chris Cucker does at Wildlands, but I can take credit for finding them and identifying them and saying these are the people that we need to run these kinds of organizations. you.